Alright, here is my 40-gallon Octagon. You can see there's one of my red paradise fish that came in. He's really colored up since he's been in here. And then that's either another male, a less dominant male, and that's of course the female for sure. The other one I'm not quite sure. I think it's a male, but it's just not as colored as him. That's my Liberty Molly girl, and the male that keeps bothering her is her male. He's quite pretty. He's got the red machine kind of blue on the sides, and they know I'm going to feed them here soon, so they're then we've got the three angels that Chris Junkin gave me two, and then the littler one here is one that I had from Mike's Angels. In the back, you'll see the biggest one has a problem with the top fin. What happened was there was a wild betta in here, and normally they're pretty good with others, but for some reason it didn't with this one. So I got him out of there and tried to save the angels from having losing their fins. I know with the Octagon it looks like there's four in there, but there's only three. And there's some mollies. I have some pistos that came from that one came from Chris also. I got to get a female out for it. Bolivian rams that were mine. They had spawned for me at one point, and then they haven't since. So they were in a big tank where they had no, little caves and other stuff. There's a coconut cave. I don't know if I can get a good picture of it, but it's in the back. There you go. You can see the top. Now, I plan on having way more plants in here. My sword's kind of melted on me. You can see that down here on this one in particular. But I'm hoping that will recover. People keep telling me that plants recover. I've only had a couple do it. But basically got some driftwood, and I wanted to leave the middle open for the angels. Now I have three other, absolutely stunning Pinoy ones with the blue sheen on the side. I just didn't want to overcrowd them in here. I have a 60-gallon that I am doing in the basement. I'm hoping that is where they'll go. They're in with rainbows right at the moment, and some cherry bars, or not cherry bars, but barbs, different barbs that Chris Junkin had. And we have a bunch of pistos and other things that will go in there also. I don't know what that black molly's doing with them, but heaven only knows. But my Paradise Angels, it took a little bit, but they're now colored up. I have one lone female guppy in there. It was a fancy pair, and she was in there for a while by herself and with a couple of the Mickey Mouse platy dither fishes I'm using them for. And where did she go? She's fast, so I think that's how she survived. We got Corys in there, and although the Corys aren't going to show themselves, some of the bronze ones back there, and I believe I had put my pepper Corys in here, but they're all hiking right at the moment. And some mystery snails. But I'll get some Chinese algae eaters and other cleanup crew in there. May put some shrimp in there if my shrimp keep growing in population. I have a Skittles group but I know they do eat the babies for sure, so I probably will put them in their own tank. Yeah, these mollies like to chase her around, but she's already filled with eggs, I believe. I want to get some stuff she can, like moss and java moss and java fern and stuff for her to lay the eggs in so they don't get eaten. But this is my 40-gallon long. It's in my bathroom. My husband's going to make a lid with the plexiglass for me. There is a other filter that came with it. I'm using this to keep everybody in until I get the lid. But I have that, and if I drape it just right, it doesn't get covered with wet. And then at some point, this filter will be either hidden or gone because I don't need too overcrowded with that. But when I first start my tanks, I like having 2 in there. So this is it. I will give you progress as more plants get here and it looks better. And we'll take and keep an eye on this one as well as the others. So you guys have a good evening.